Hey guys, today we're going to talk about arrays, the basics of arrays. Here's a little outline of what we'll be covering. So I'm going to jump to the whiteboard. So, okay. Arrays. So, we all know what integers are, right? So int n equals 3. Arrays are basically, think of them as a way to store multiple values of the same type. So if we wanted an array of integers, it means we're going to have more than one integer. So let's call our array nums. And we're going to have multiple numbers, so like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is an open curly brace, close curly brace, 1, 2, 3, semicolon. The name, we gave our variable the name nums, and similar to here, we have to give nums a type. So n has type int, nums is going to have type array of int. And the way we tell Java about an array of integers is we write int, and then the array part is square brace, open square brace, close square brace. Okay? So this basically declares an array of integers. The name is called nums, and the values inside nums are these three numbers, 1, 2, and 3. So let me look at my notes quickly. Yes, so let's do a quick diagram of what this looks like. It's similar to strings. We have three locations. So we have the value 1 here, the value 2 here, and the value 3 here. 1, 2, and 3. And so these are called elements, right? The first element of nums is 1, the second element is 2, the third element is 3. And very similar to strings, each element is located at an index. So this is index 0, this is index 1, and this is index 2. Alright, so this is like index. And these are like, you can think of these as elements. One, two, three. Index 0, 1, 2. So the way you access an element of the array is nums at 0. Right? So this basically says, this is nums, and then give me the element at index 0. Index 0 is here, and so the element is 1. So that gives you 1. Right? And then let's go on to the next page. So let's see, let's redraw that. So we're going to have nums, oops. So we have int nums equals 1, 2, 3. So we have a box of what this looks like. One, 2, 3 at index 0, 1, 2. So nums at 0 is 1. Nums at 1 is what? 2, right? And then nums at index 2 will give you 3. And then we should talk about length. So what is the length of this array? It's 3, right? So how do we get that inside Java? Nums.length. So you might remember when we did strings, we used to, if we had string s, so let's do that. So we used to have, if you have string s equals cat, you could do s.length, right? And that would give you 3. When we have nums, we use just nums.length, and that gives you 3. Okay? So these are index, these are elements, and length. So with these principles, we can write a quick little Java program that prints out the elements of an array. So let's take a look at that real quick. So we'll do int nums equals 1, 2, 3. We know that nums.length should be 3. So let's, and we know that nums at 0 is 1, nums at 1 is 2, nums at 2 is 3. Right, so for loop int I equals 0, and I'm going to go for the length of the array, right, which is basically 3 in this case, I++. So I goes 0, 1, 2. And then inside here, we know that nums I will basically nums 0, then nums 1, then nums 2, which would be, that'll print 1, 2, and 3, right? We'll print out 1, 2, 3. So system dot out dot println. Let's see what that does. Cool, 1, 2, 3. And we can change these values to anything we want. We can do 56, 71, and 11. If we print that out, it's going to print those numbers. Yes, so that's kind of the basic way to declare an array and then print out the values of an array. We can also change the values inside the array. So how would we do that? So one thing we can do is, let's say we wanted to we could even do that right here. So let's do a simple example. So nums at 1 equals 22. So before we printed 56, 71, and 11, and if we change 1 to 22, we have to think about, this is the index 1, so that would be here, right? Because this is index 0, index 1, index 2. So it's saying change the element at index 1 to 22. So now this should print out 56, 22, and 11. So let's run that and see it. Right? Cool. 56, 22, and 11. Does that make sense, everyone? Cool. So, yeah, as you can see, this is very similar to strings. So we can do a parallel example here. We can do string s equals cat. So s dot length with parentheses is going to give you 3. S dot char at 0 will give you C. S dot char at 1 will give you A. S dot char at 2 will give you T. Right? Do you see how these are very, very similar? And under the covers, or under the hood, Java stores strings as integers, or sorry, arrays. And in this case, it's going to be an array of characters. So the thing about arrays is this is an array of integers, but you can have an array of any type. You can have an array of characters. So you would do char c equals chars, and then you could do c, let's do hat, c, a, and t, right? So now you have a group of characters, just like this is a group of numbers, okay? Yeah, so what is an array? An array is an object that stores many values of the same type. Another point is that they are stored next to each other in memory, each element of the array. So 56, 71, and 11, they're all stored next to each other in memory. And we'll talk more about memory in a future lecture. But this is a really important point that we'll talk about more later. So 2 other points. This is one way to declare an array, but there are other ways. So let's talk about another way to declare an array. So another way would be like this. So an array, at the end of the day, it is an object. This is an object. So to create a new object, you use the keyword new. So just like if you were to do string, random, you could do random r equals new random, right? So arrays also use the new keyword. String has like a special, you could actually do new string and then cat. And then this is just like a shortcut that Java implemented. So similarly, this is like a new creates a new object. Shortcut to create new object, but it's still creating a new object. So same thing with nums. Int nums equals new int 3. And then you could say nums at 0 equals 56, nums at 1 equals 11, nums at 2 equals 72, and a shortcut would be nums2 equals 56, 11, and 72. Right? Shortcut. But they both do the same thing. And we can prove it by, let's print out nums 56, 11, 72, and let's do nums2. 56, 11, 72, right? So these are the same, they're doing the same thing. This is just a shortcut. But this is still very useful because sometimes you don't know the numbers ahead of time. So you could write a program that uses scanner, right? So let's do this. And we'll erase the cat example. So we're going to do scanner as equals new scanner system.in, and then we're going to say nums.length, and then we're going to say nums at I equals s.next int. So this is going to ask the user to give us some numbers. So let's see what this is going to do. And then maybe afterwards we can just print it out. System.out.println nums at I. Alright, so let's run this. So 45, 31, 98. 45, 32, 98, right? You guys see what just happened? So in this way, this is a way to use the new syntax because we didn't know what values were going to be inside because the values came from the user. So that's two ways of declaring an array, right? And then the other note is just what happens if you go out of bounds. So this is very similar to the string example. So if you were to try to go from 0, 1, 2, 3, you would get an error because there is no 0, 1, 2, there is no index 3. So let's just do a quick program for that. 1, 2, 3. It prints out 1, 2, 3, and then we get an exception. Array index out of bounds because 3 is out of bounds. Okay, so those are the basics of arrays. Please contact me on Slack if you have any questions. Thank you.